Good morning, everybody. Hope everyone's doing wonderfully well today. Markets are once again setting up for another gap up. Although they've faded off of their pre-market highs, the S&P, you still have the QQQ gapping up slightly. It is currently below that Friday high pivot, so we'll see if we can get some downside. The one thing that I want to bring to everyone's attention is the Qs did print a daily hanging man candle. So statistically, what you want to see today is a lower close below this yesterday's close. So if we close today below this hanging man candle, it severely opens up the probabilities for more sell side pressure. So again, the bulls want to maintain structure above this daily hanging man candle. The bears want to have a close below to swing the probabilities in favor. All right, so now that we looked at the Q daily chart there, let's go to some of these pre-market movies. Still have the VIX green in the pre-market. You did get core retail sales coming out this morning. It did have initial uptick in the dollar, but the dollar's just kind of trading flat. The interesting thing about core retail sales is it is upticking the 10-year yield here, pushing to the highs of the session on the hourly chart. But more importantly, it is upticking the shorter end of the curve. The 2-year yield right now is up 0.2% and potentially trying to maybe break out here, guys. We got this little bit of an intraday breakout on yields, an hourly breakout potentially being confirmed here by a secondary hourly close on the session. We do have a whole bunch of earnings that are hitting the tape, guys. Predominantly, most of the earnings were good on the reporting side. Some of the reactions were mixed. A couple of the big names that are moving, ALAB, ALAB. That stock is gapping up to the high side right now. Closing at 175 yesterday, testing 190. This one probably is going to try to move to $200 or so. So that's what I would anticipate there. What else? UNH is a big mover today. UNH gapping up on its earnings. It was a double beat across the board. Decent revenue, guys. Really, really decent revenue. So now, this is where UNH tried breaking out previously and got slammed right back down. So this is a pretty important area. Are the people that chase the breakout off of this high volume going to sell, or are they going to continue to press and buy? So if you get a move above this high pivot, this one's probably going to set up for a pretty decent sized rally over the coming months. And I do think that healthcare has underperformed a little bit. And remember, XLV potentially setting up this massive inverse weekly head and shoulders. So the fact that UNH is starting to participate, very good sign for the index itself. All right, Lucid's up, Cirrus Logic is up, Cars again moving, Humana, what else? Howard. Couple stocks that are under a little bit of pressure. Let's go look at that. SBA. SBAC, sorry. SBAC. Stock should be gapping down. Tractor Supply, TransDigm, Fresh Bread, GE reported as well. Stock is under a little bit of pressure right now. Alaska Airlines, we don't want to do anything. Webull's also getting a little bit more attention after a big share buyback, guys. So Webull has made a significant rally off of the lows, getting a big gap up today on the back of some big share buyback announcement. Can't remember what the announcement was, but it was fairly decent, I guess. What else we got? Interestingly enough, gold and silver are reacting to the stronger dollar and yields. So we'll see if the markets want to react. Gold right now is down 1.1%. Silver also taking a little bit of a sell side day. Silver again, shortable zone here, guys. Back below this trend line. If you want to short silver, I have no issues with that. What my stop loss would be is a close, a daily close back above the 7-day moving average. If you want to use the 50-day, you can use that as well. Amazon did make an announcement last night, basically popping up to the upside. More AWS news. So, again, pretty positive price action for Amazon, going for another high sweep. Lucid, this is just a shit stock in a heavy downtrend. Nothing to do here, guys. I wouldn't step in front of Lucid to save my life. This one's just absolutely dead money. Dead money. Let's see what else we got going on. Let's look at Tesla because we did trade that yesterday with nice success. Right now, Tesla is gapping up a couple dollars. Remember, Amazon's one of the stronger mags today, so it's lifting consumer discretionary. So Tesla might have a little bit of an underlying bid. If Tesla was to somehow retest the 200-day moving average, I would fire off a short. That being said, as long as Tesla remains underneath the 200-day moving average, and more specifically, this neckline, it is a big fat short as well. Nvidia right now still squeezing higher to the top side, just making a vertical ascent move. AMD still pretty strong at the highs. Micron still pretty strong. Broadcom consolidated a little bit yesterday. Intel taking a bit of a breather, but it's up in the pre-market right now. Let's look at RKLB. Rocket Lab still remains pretty firm. ASTS remains pretty firm in the pre-market. It is gapping up slightly. This one could be on watch for another secondary short opportunity. It did get a big buy program yesterday, but I would anticipate that with the 7 and 20 bearish crossover, this one's looking for a fade the pop type of move. Crude oil is at a pretty decent inflection point. It's still currently below the neckline as well as below the 7-day moving average, but it's trying to set up a potential inverse head and shoulders. You really want to see crude oil, if you're bullish, get back inside this opening range and break out. So still getting rejected off of that hourly opening candle from yesterday. Good morning, YS. Good morning. What else do we have going on? Let's look at Google here. Yeah, so Google's still consolidating. Apple news regarding Tim Cook basically stepping away, a new CEO. So that's a big uncertainty. But in the face of Apple kind of having a lack of innovation, perhaps a younger CEO is something that they need. We will see how investors view Tim Cook. Again, there's generally a little bit of uncertainty when there's a CEO change. So I wouldn't surprise me to see Apple get rejected here and go back down to the wedge pattern low. Right now, Apple is pretty weak in the pre-market, gapping down this morning. So got to watch for that. Microsoft right now is holding steady. It's up about 80 cents or so in the pre-market. We'll see if that can hold steady. Just give me a sec, guys. Thank you guys. Yeah, I have my mic muted. First Solar's one that I've been looking at on the long side. It's been hammering off of the support level now once, twice, three, four times. So I think some of these solar stocks are almost inverse to the market. Obviously, as the markets have pushed, First Solar has lagged quite a bit, but it could be setting up for a bit of a move to the top side. As long as it holds this area, I think you can try to trade on the long side. If it breaks below it, then you want to get out. ENPH is a little bit different. This one's just been kind of dead. Let's look at run. Yeah, that's dead. Solar Edge, SEDG. That one's back testing. Cool. Yeah, but I was saying I think that the trade today is still on the short side of the market, more across the board. There are some individual names that are very strong, but I do think that the risk to reward is definitely favors shorts. There's still a lot of super extended charts out there that you just need to be mindful of. All right, let's get ready to rock and roll here, guys. 3 minutes till the open. I repeat, 3 minutes till the open. Just gonna switch everything back to regular hours. So Qs are gapping up right now. SPY is also set for a bit of a gap up this morning. Well, saying I just played another YouTube video and heard it, so yeah, no sound. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Same comment there. It's open, ladies and gents. Imps and players. All right, guys, markets are open. Semis are getting a nice bounce off the open. Again, Microsoft seeing a little bit of selling. You got Apple negative, Google negative, Tesla negative, Netflix down another over 1%. Gnarly sell. Lots of volatility off of the open. Boom, 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 boom. What else we got going on? Silver still getting hammered. Quantum is mixed today. Software taking a bit of a breather. IGV is still green though with Microsoft. But you got CRM trying to go red, Unity, Snap, Netflix, Iron, GoDaddy. There's definitely some selling guys under the hood. Uranium struggling this morning. Rocket Labs is red. Meta's gone red. Semis are still holding quite steady here. SOXX is a beast. SPY right now is stronger than the Qs. IWM is still the strongest, so it does look like QQQ is showing a little bit of relative weakness today. Semis are still at the highs of the session. Pumping and jumping for SOXX. Microsoft negative, Google, Apple, Nvidia negative, Meta negative, Tesla negative. But the market's still trying to hold somewhat steady through your SOXX. Guys, I did enter a bit of a short. Stop is in place if needed. QQQ is under its pre-market low. Same thing with your SPY, currently underneath its pre-market low. Still pretty stretched from the 7-day moving average on the Qs, guys. Very stretched. Where is... Surprised that's gone. Markets are still holding steady. Financials, guys, XLF is still pretty strong. You got Quantum coming in quite sharply. IONQ down 3.2. Car is still up 6. Microsoft's trying to go red. Western Digital still green. Micron having a great day. China's seeing some sell side pressure. You got crypto that's flat. UNH is still a beast, up 8.6%. BlackBerry, that's been a mover over the last few sessions. That's gone slightly red. AMD still having a great session. PayPal's green. You got crude oil and the dollar softening up a little bit. Ever so slightly. Pretty big decline, still trying to hit the tape here, guys. We're still trading very extended on the overall charts, guys, but the market's holding steady. Your semiconductors are still fighting and showing their resiliency, which is pretty impressive. Pretty impressive for sure. SPX is trading still over 7,100. They're still trying to show their strength and resiliency. Microsoft catching a little bit of a bid here. Crude oil also catching a bit of a bid. So Apple down right now. Nvidia's rolling over negative. Google's negative. Amazon's still ripping to the top side. So they're still trying to shake out some of the sellers here. Marvell still squeezing. It's a mixed bag across the board. All indices are still green. QQQ is lagging slightly. IWM is still leading the charge. You got Bitcoin that is rolled over. Gold, silver, still seeing some sell side pressure. Ticker car is unhalted. It did have a pretty nasty sell reversal on the hourly chart after that unhalt. Still trying to push to the top side while Marvell is an absolute monster right now. You got your SOXX that has just retested its pre-market high levels. So far, we've had 6 votes for the poll. Will the markets close green or red today? All 100% of you are saying green. Wow. Interesting. Everyone in the chat is bullish. Bullish, eh? Wow, I don't think I've ever seen that before. Usually there's one bear in there. That's pretty crazy. Semis are still ripping. Meta's trying to flip back green. All the bears are dead. Yeah, all the bears are dead. Which is telling me what? One bear here? No Chicken Little today. YS lost confidence. Mindfulness saying we're going much higher. Buy calls. Wow. You guys are making me see a crowded ship here. Watch this market plummet today. You guys are all too bullish. Right, semiconductors, SOXX is getting some slight rejection off its pre-market high. Yeah, your VIX is still upticking here quite sharply, guys. Downside protection is being bought with force. VIX is still trying. Interesting, the market's still also trying to push. Crazy. Impressive price action. S&P still trying to get a little bit of an uptick here. Buy side pressure hitting the session. Quantum China still under quite a bit of pressure. Nvidia has rolled over a little bit here, negative on the session. Apple still down. Google slightly negative. Microsoft, Amazon, Meta still pushing green. Tesla's negative, but basically almost flat. Still got a little bit of weakness hitting individual software names. Yep. Are the semiconductors going for a semiconductors are potentially going to be going for their 15th day? I don't know about that. That would be one record, I'm sure. But great point there, Peter. When peace deal is announced, markets will go much higher. What if the peace deal isn't announced? What happens if the deadline tomorrow expires? Then what? What happens then? GME crossing 25.30, up 1.5%, looking pretty decent. This car is just a beast. I mean, now up 9.75%. I think it's halted again. Yep, halted again. All right, so Microsoft getting a really big push, back up 0.75%, ripping to the top side. Nvidia, Apple still lagging. Tesla's trying to push to the green side. Your SOXX is still getting some sell side pressure off of its pre-market high levels. Software is catching a nice bid here. Maybe we're going to see semis rotate downward. UNH, that is still shaking and moving, up over 9% on the session. Ooh, Data Vault is catching another intraday bid. DVLT, interesting. DVLT, Data Vault. That's made a nice breakout. Markets are still acting very well here. Very, very well. QQQ still underneath its pre-market low level, but just so slightly. You can see SPY's back testing its pre-market low level. Big spot here for the bulls and bears. This is where the bulls want to retake that pre-market low and bears want to try to slap it down. So this is a shortable level on the market, pre-market low area. If you get above that, probably want to rethink the puts, but your SOXX is starting to see some rejection off of its pre-market high level. Again, will this be 15 days green in a row for your semiconductors? Arguably, probably one of the bigger moves that we have ever witnessed for this indices in a 3 consecutive week span. It's going to be very intriguing. All right, QQQ still trying to push. Dollar crude oil just dropping sideways. Typically, the market does like that. SPY's trying to get through that pre-market low. QQQ's definitely lagging here, guys. IWM is still pumping up 0.5%. So tech is lagging. Tech is lagging. That's never a good sign. Tech usually displays leadership over the S&P 500. So just monitor that closely, guys. I wonder if this is going to be a failed breakout for the Qs. The Qs have this little bit of an attempt at a breakout going on right here. You can see the wedge pattern breakout to the upside. We're currently above it, but if this turns into a failed breakout, we're going to be going pretty low today. Let's see if support gets bought. Bear, TP. Semiconductors are still seeing some sell side pressure, guys. Pretty hard selling. S&P is holding quite steady here. QQQ is getting a small sell signal in your shorter time frame. So S&P is acting much, much better. Much better. SPY is just a beast. Your semis are seeing some downward pressure whilst your S&P's pumping and jumping. Crude oil starting to soften up a little bit. That's typically bullish for the tape. Big push on SPY, getting a test of that prior day high. Very strong price action. Your S&P is one tough indice, making a bit of a squeeze. IGB is now up 1.3, Microsoft up 0.94, CRM up 1.5. USO is actually negative on the session. Still a little bit of weakness across Tesla, Apple, Nvidia, but Amazon ripping, Meta starting to push, Microsoft looking very bullish intraday. Markets are still squeezing to the top side here. BBAI is seeing a nice little move here. That's up 3.1%. Big Bear AI. Semis are still seeing hard sell side pressure off of that pre-market high, guys. So as the S&P has moved up, semis have pushed down, and part and parcel, I think you're seeing a little bit of rotation back into IG, and you're definitely seeing some profit taking in your semiconductors. Market is still structurally holding up A-OK. I still don't like the fact that Qs are underneath their pre-market low. Usually they're the ones leading the charge to the upside, but your S&P is outpacing it, and then obviously your Russell 2000 is acting extremely well. Netflix still struggling, Snapchat, Unity, Iron, Western Digital, Nvidia, all seeing sell side. Micron seeing some sellers. Uranium, SMR. A little bit of red starting to appear on the screen. There's definitely a big rotation trade. Healthcare financials are getting bid up here. Another solid session for JP Morgan, but it's this tech basket that is lagging a little bit on the Qs. We'll see. Qs are still technically a short underneath this pre-market low. Qs are a short underneath pre-market low, guys. You can see the structural difference. SPY trading well above its pre-market low. Qs are still underneath it, so. Qs are the indice to fade if there's a move. MSTR just rolled over to the dark side. AMD still green. Nvidia down 0.3, Apple down 0.59, Google up 0.2, Microsoft up 1%, Amazon up 1.5, Meta up 0.3, Tesla lagging a little bit. Is there a Tesla short again? Let's see. We shorted Tesla yesterday. Tesla's an interesting pattern here. Definitely setting up a potential head and shoulders here. This is looking real nasty, guys. If this starts to trigger, Tesla's going to have a really gnarly fall. I mean, really gnarly because we're losing that 200, getting rejected off that neckline. This is a bearish zone for Tesla. It needs to put in some work here or else it's going to start to fumble to the downside. QQQ still trying here. Alright, Qs. Will they attack that pre-market low? We will see what is going to happen. Semiconductors are now catching a bit of a bid. Yep, earnings are tomorrow, so whatever you do, going long or short, big mover could be on earnings. S&P breaking through opening range high. Here comes the orb traders trading the breakout. Pump it to pre-market high. QQQ now starting to try to test that pre-market low. Big spot here for your NASDAQ Qs. Tech. Crude oil still softening up. Your US dollar softening up. Gold and silver catching a nice bit as well. Nvidia almost back to the green side. Wow. Big spot for the QQQ bulls, guys. Pre-market low. Still seeing some rejection, but trying to get through it. SPY's holding steady and pushing. Eli Lilly. Wow, Eli Lilly's down 3.4%. That might be a bit of a buy. Let me look at this LLY chart. That one's getting hammered. Definitely seems that now there's a rotation trade out of, say, names like Lilly. How's J&J doing? Yeah, J&J pulling back. So the breakout in UNH and some of these insurance providers are certainly looking more structurally sound since your other aspects of healthcare are pulling back. Boeing's down, ASML's down still, Lennar's still moving, home builders are acting quite well. Big rejection there off of pre-market high for Qs. Polly saying Amazon getting to the weight loss game. Yeah, I did read that headline. I appreciate that news there. It also hit HIMS in the pre-market, but that's climbing back quite well. So, yeah, Amazon exploring quite a bit of quite a bit. Yeah, Lily's quality. I mean, Lily up here or down here, I was looking at in the pre-market before this drop. I'm looking at maybe buying around 860-ish. One more sweep of this low, and I'd consider starting some shares as well. It's definitely a winner in my mind as well. It's kind of top tier quality too. They got so much in the pipeline, Lily, that it makes them hard. It's a hard candidate to bet against. Merck is getting hit today, down 2.5. XBI biotechs are struggling. Biotechs have also been one of the stronger spots of the market, and they are struggling today, backtesting that 7-day moving average. Interesting. Very interesting. SPY still holding steady. Qs are still seeing some small sell side pressure off that pre-market low. Semis are still trying to bounce here. Palo Alto having a good day. GDX is down. First Solar's down. Oracle up 1%, just over 1%. RQ's pushing through pre-market low. Big push. SPY also seeing some resiliency here. CMG Chipotle, that's doing well. R still seeing a little bit of selling off its pre-market high level. Ticker CAR. What a beast. What a beast. Lots of stocks are showing some strength today. SMCI up 2.78%. I'm surprised GME hasn't squeezed more with the breakout it's doing. The Q's now participating, getting a big fat squeeze here again. Jimmy does look construct, just no boom. That's the best way to put it. Absolutely. Agreed. Dolby, Hershey, Kava, Metsi, Spaghetti, Costco under pressure, Baba really coming in. Copper's mixed today. Microsoft looking really strong today. Really strong. I mean, Microsoft could make a move to 427 today. It's looking really strong. IGV is up 2.28% and moving. So your staple stocks are showing a little bit of sell side pressure. Walmart's currently flat. Costco still negative on the session. QQQ still flexing its muscles. Looks like they may try to sweep the highs from yesterday. We'll see. Can it get through its pre-market low? Big spot. Yeah, China is coming in today pretty sharply. Netflix. Come on, Netflix. Sell down to that 50-day. I'd love to see Netflix come into that 50-day moving average today. That could be a bit of a scalping opportunity on the long side. VIX is being UVXY is negative, but your VIX is still green coming in from the highs though. Nvidia, Western Digital still under a little bit of pressure. Crude oil still rolling over slightly. XOM is down 0.8%. Microsoft still a beast. Snapchat, how's PayPal doing today? PayPal partnered with the NFL, so that stock has been moving up quite nicely. Actually, PayPal just filled its gap today. That's super impressive. Good to see for PayPal. PayPal up 1% right now, bumping up into EMA 113. Qs are well above that pre-market high, sorry, pre-market low and squeezing new high of day across the board. Does look like a very strong market reaction. We'll see if the hourly candle is going to hold now. Yep, IGV is a mover. IGV is a mover. Up 2.5%. CRM is now up 3.3. IGV is strong today. You can see Palantir pushing into it. Big mover. Duolingo still lagging a little bit. How's Adobe? Adobe, nice push. Oracle getting a big fat stick. Microsoft, big mover as well. Cybersecurity, PanW, CrowdStrike, all moving to the top side. How's AppLovin doing? AppLovin kind of lagging a little bit, actually. That's one's currently negative on the session. Getting a big bounce, though. Interesting. Interesting. All right, guys, crude oil getting a little bit of an uptick here. Crude oil is seeing a move. As I'm jumping into some XOM calls, I'm going to jump into some XOM calls. I'm seeing crude oil spiking here. They're still holding positive structure here. I don't know if there was a news announcement, but crude oil just got a nice 10-minute stick on WTI. It's kind of interesting. Like, what's this big stick from? If there's news, guys, watch oil. Watch oil. There's news. Again, I did jump into some XOM calls off that low. We'll see how that does. Ticker car, seeing a little bit more sell side. Nice push up in your energy. Markets are still trying to hold above that opening range high. Semiconductors are going for another high of day sweep. SOXX guys, sweeping the highs, ripping. Currently pushing up 1.34% on your SOXX, going for 15 days straight consecutive upside pressure. Busting through its pre-market high level. Nvidia trying to go green again. Apple's still lagging. Tesla's trying to go green. Netflix still down 1%. Strength in Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Meta. Your QQQ is now leading your S&P 500, so that is typically what you want to see for bullish continuation. EVAI still moving. Microsoft still holding steady. Financials are still pretty strong across the board. Microsoft backing and filling a little bit here, right over its prior day high, 423.13. Holding steady. Crude oil is still trying to uptick here intraday. Bitcoin's still struggling today. It's down on the session slightly. WTI still shaking and moving. Ticker car starting to see a little bit more sell side. Markets are still pumping. Semis are still ripping. Software is still moving to the top side. SPY is still showing its resiliency and strength. Same thing with the Qs. Qs are moving. IWM is still pushing to the top side. Small pop there in XOM, which just got faded back down to the lows of the session. Crude oil is still trying to push higher. Dollars chopping sideways. Yields are chopping sideways. The IWM is just a beast. Still leading the charge to the upside, up 0.84%. Testing 280, going for 280 on the Russell 2000. Microsoft, big strong bounce off of its prior day high, pushing for a new high a day. Semis are still full beast mode. Markets are loving life right now. Amazon pushing up 1.8. Tesla's green. 392.80 for Tessie. Nvidia is also green. Two Soundhound. Lucid up 12. Open Door up 9.3. SPRC, it's up 33.5%. Interesting. Very interesting. Crude oil guys still pushing. WTI up now 2%. Trying to break out to the highs of the session. NVTS, wow, that's up 22.6%. That's wild. It's still squeezy. Guys, I did take a little bit of a short on hymns. Hymns, trying to scalp it short here. My stop loss is going to be high of day. If we push back up to high a day, that would be my stop loss. Small short on HIMS. Some put options. Car still moving. Crude oil still tried uptick in there. Small short on HIMS, but tight stop loss. Market's ridiculously strong still. Trying to pick on a little bit of a weak name. Although what a move HIMS has had. Off of the lows. Your S&P 500 still moving. QQQ still moving to the top side. Interesting. Market is still resilient. Holding steady. Quantum still mixed. Microsoft seeing a little bit of 10-minute sell side pressure. Nvidia is still flat, which is super impressive because your SOXX is still a beast, up 1.2%, 15 days up in a row. QQQ seeing a little bit of selling on the 5-minute chart. Crude oil is trying to break out intraday, guys. It's gunning for new highs. Back inside that hourly opening range candle from yesterday. So that is a bullish hourly range candle off of the gap up from yesterday. Wild, wild stuff. SPY still holding quite steady here. VIX is still getting faded here. WTI still trying to make a move. So we're into this opening range again from yesterday, the bullish gap up, which got faded right off the open, but we're trying to retest that area now. We will see if crude oil influences the markets. Qs still ripping. IWM still moving. SOXX still pushing. Crazy. Dollar getting faded still. QQQ going for another new all-time high sweep. HIMS is trying to fight here. Don't you dare do it, HIMS. Don't you dare. Market's still trying to squeeze here. Marvell's absolutely a beast. Car's still a beast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11 hours of upside in a row for Car. But the daily chart is still the most impressive. Wow. Your S&P is still trying to push. Same thing with your QQQ. QQQ, new high. New all-time high there for Qs, guys. Another new all-time high. Impressive. What's interesting is the markets are still charging higher, showing great relative strength here as Nvidia's flat, Micron's flat, Western Digital's flat. So it seems that SOXX, SMH doesn't even need those leaders. Crude oil, WTI going higher here, pushing on your 30-minute chart. WTI, guys, is still trying to flex its muscles. Apple still just struggling here immensely, down 1%. Tesla back to the dark side. Netflix still struggling. Lilly still struggling. Nvidia's back red. Still trying to hold steady. So my day trades that are currently open, I'm in XOM calls and HIMS puts. Tried shorting the Qs, got stopped out for a small loss. But I'm in HIMS puts, XOM calls. Come on. Take us back down to the lows, HIMS. Take us back down to the lows. Again, crude oil is looking pretty bullish here intraday. It's trying to push up. Let's look at energy. XOM's trying. XLE's trying. CVX. Let's see that. CVX is trying. Come on, HIMS. Come on down. If HIMS loses this upsloping trend line, it should potentially retest the lows of the day. Wow, CAR is up to 732, up 20%. Holy fuck, what is going on with that name? That's honestly the barometer of the market. Market won't top until CAR tops. Goodness gracious me. Dollar is still trying to push up a little bit. Semis are getting rejected off their pre-market highs. Open test for your S&P. Big spot. We do have XOM guys starting to squeeze a little bit higher here. Come on, baby. Pump it up. HIMS is still trying to fight here. Intraday. IWM is still leading the charge, up 0.73. QQQ in second place, up 0.37. Car is just a beast. It's back open, guys. Car is still chopping around 730, 736. Wow. Crazy mover, man. Absolutely crazy mover. It just got halted yet again. S&P getting a little bit rejected. All right, crude oil is pushing here, guys. Crude oil is starting to push. S&P seeing some hard rejection. Car back open again, wicking around through its pre-market high levels. Currently we're still above 700, up 15%. What an absolute beast. Honestly, this could be this hourly candle on car is massive, wide range. It looks like a blow-off move on car, but I don't know. This stock is just crazy. 95.86 on the RSI daily. That's wild. Any higher, it's gonna start going off to the left. All right, your S&P is still moving to the downside, guys. Crude oil is still trying to push here. I think it makes sense to pick up some of these energy stocks on the discounted. You still got XLE, which is flat, CVX, which is down, XOM, which was down even more. It's trying to get a little bit of a bid off the lows. And crude oil is still ripping here. Sound starts to come and go. I'll move my mic a bit closer here. UVXY is climbing up. So yeah, the VIX is still green today. Markets are still holding steady, but downside protection is being somewhat accumulated slowly for sure. Gold, silver is still weak. Nvidia, Apple still draining. Netflix, Tesla, Lilly still draining, but Amazon's a beast. Microsoft's a beast. IGV still beast mode. Ames is still battling here. Fighting. Ames is fighting. All right. Stock's trying to uptick here, guys. Small buy program trying to hit your Dixie. Software still remains impeccably bullish today. Nvidia Micron back to the dark side. Man, if this SOXX gives a 15 days green in a row, wow. I mean, holy moly. It's wild. SMCI still having a great day. Webull still having a good session, although it's well off its highs. UNH still up 9.93%. Healthcare complex is holding quite well. Crude oil still pushing. WTI, guys, grinding now up 2.5%. Would not surprise me to see these markets go negative. But for now, the markets are showing true resiliency. Super impressive. Bitcoin flexing its muscles now, pushing back up. Interesting. Ugh. Microsoft is going for another new high of day push. Microsoft is still a beast on the session. Just hit 744. Avis hit 744. Not gonna lie, I had some put options, they got smoked. I mean, it's not over and done with. The stock will have a 20-30% pullback probably in one day when it decides to turn. But yeah, I've lost a little bit of money in Avis for sure, currently speaking. Trade's not closed, but it's wild, right? 15 or 14, 15 days up on Avis. I mean, monster. And I mean, the stock, although it's getting crazy overbought, setting records here probably for an individual mover, you know, $1,000, it takes it to about a 40 billion market cap. So it could still try to push if this market goes absolutely bananas and insane. I would favor a pullback here. I mean, I think if you're chasing Avis long here, you're kind of a nutty trader. Um, Probably going to be someone's exit, but yeah, it's wild. Wild move for sure on ticker car. And again, if you can catch that turn in the market on Avis, it's going to be insane. But it's a very highly manipulated stock right now. They're squeezing shorts at every turn. Squeezing shorts. Our S&P seeing a little bit more sell side. Crude oil taking a bit of a breather. Yeah, that IV, those put options on car are pretty expensive too. I mean, they're not cheap. That high IV making you pay for sure. Microsoft new high of day, full beast mode. S&P seeing quite a bit of sell side pressure. Someone entered large 750 call on car this morning. That's wild. I mean, I don't know how they're gonna momentum, right? Short squeeze momentum. That's what they're trading off of. As my XOM trade did stop me out of break even. Unfortunately, I don't know what the hell they're doing to that name. It's weird because crude oil is still strong. 7.3 million on the April 8th, sorry, the May 8th expiry. Cool. That's wild. That is wild. On my HIMS puts, guys, HIMS, looking for that one to melt down, but it's taking a sweet old time. Your S&P is starting to lose its opening range high. You could have a trend short down again on the tape, guys. Microsoft, whoa, man, beast mode, up 2% on the session. Not seeing any red candles yet on Microsoft, so that's still holding steady. Apple still selling off here. Nvidia slightly red. Strongest mag on the day is MSFT. CAR starting to get rejected off its pre-market high yet again. So CAR today has seen 1, 2, 3, 4, couple of rejections off its pre-market high. We'll see if that holds. Come on, HIMS. Melt your price action down, man. Come on. Market still holding positive structure. Crude oil still pushing. Microsoft still squeezing. Crude oil taking another breather. Home builders are still having a great day. Solar's perking up. Banks are still strong across the board. Oracle's beast mode today. That's up 3.6%. Interesting. Chipotle having a great day as well. CMG. Gold and silver still getting hammered here. That's what makes me think this market should react to oil and the dollar and yields today. Gold and silver reacting pretty negatively. SPY's getting faded here. Guys, I am back in XOM calls, 148s. At 128, got a better entry off that little wick down. Your S&P backtesting prior day high. So now we set up this pattern where if we can break out of this little channel, let me just see what we got going here. This little channel, right, you got a nice little neckline, could be construed as a bullish inverted head and shoulders. It's very sloppy, not really much left shoulder element, but if it breaks out here, you got quite a big squeeze, probably to about 715. But obviously, if you lose prior day high or pre-market low zone, this little confluence zone, could easily flush back down to the low of this channel. So we'll see how much they want to chop us around here. All right, nice back test on XOM, guys. We just bought that little dip there. Man, car is still ridiculous. Crazy. Mr. Softy still showing its strength. QQQ still holding above its pre-market high level. Come on, Hims. What are you doing? Sell into this. Hims loves to do these big moves up and then retraces. I think I've seen this playbook where Hims gaps down, gets bought up, almost fills its gap, and then gets faded back down. Highly manipulated stock as well. All right, IWM still leading, but coming off of its highs. SPY still underperforming the Qs. So QQQ seeing some leadership from Microsoft, Amazon today. Tesla's still weak. Tesla's been struggling to hold its positive price action all day. Nice push on XOM. Nice SPY dip. Crude oil, guys, still trying to grind a little bit higher here. Apple's going lower. Google's rolling over to the negative side, so we are seeing some distribution hitting the tape here. Hims is trying to roll over as well. XOM. Push it, baby. Man, I think XOM could be a big mover, guys. I think XOM could actually head to 149.50. I think XOM has a strong chance at sweeping these highs, and that could happen today. Today. Not surprise me. Hims is starting to move to the downside as well. Come on, Hims. Close. This is a big level for Hims. If we break this channel, it should start to tumble to the downside. Come on, Hims. Nice push up on SPY there. I don't know if there was news on that candle. Food the dollar. Dollar fell there. Crude oil still held. Hims is starting to melt a little bit. Car also coming in sharply now, guys. All right, we seem to be getting news here, guys. A little bit of wicking going on here. If anyone has news hitting the tape, put it in the chat. I don't know what is going on yet. Walsh calls for reform-oriented Federal Reserve. That was 2 minutes ago. I don't know if that was it. All right, Hims. Nice melting on Hims, guys. Nice drop on Hims. Let's get paid on HIMS. XOM starting to see a little bit of sell side pressure. Really good drop on Hims, guys. Yeah, Hims play has been perfect. And the nice thing about HIMS is it's a weak stock and a strong tape, right? So if this market starts to show some weakness, HIMS should retest the lows. I have HIMS retesting 27 bucks. There's a big gap fill there and an April NFP level high, so 27 is a big spot for HIMS. This little gap fill down here, if we hit that today, these cons would pay huge, huge. Wow, Microsoft is still pushing and grinding. Crude oil still grinding. Come on, HIMS. Come on down, baby. YS saying Fair Chair nominee Warsh need a new inflation framework. Yep, I did read that too. That was it's gonna be interesting. I don't really know much about Warsh, to be honest. Um, we'll see what color tie he likes to wear. Alright, small sell signal on the QQQ 15-minute chart. 5 and 15-minute are printing sell signals, guys. Hourly still mixed. 4-hour, still seeing sell side signal on the 4-hour. Market still remains pretty resilient though. Nice drop on HIMS. Come on down, HIMS. Come on down, guys. Alright, so what I'm looking at on HIMS here, guys, is I would look to trim half into this pivot here and raise stops to break even. So that's what I'm going to be planning to do. If we flush hard into this little pivot zone here around 29.44-ish, I'd look to take a small trim on HIMS. Actually, I'm not going to do half. I'd do 1/3 of the position. I would keep 66% on the table. Just because I think that there's a lot of weakness in this name. It's got the positive backdrop to go lower, considering Amazon's trying to eat its lunch. Alright, nice push on XOM as well, guys. Those calls are starting to work out quite well. Nice to see. Come on, baby. Go, XOM. Crude oil now pushing up 2.6%. Let's go, HIMS. Melt it, melt it, melt it. Again, I'm in at 48 cents on these put options, guys. We're already trading at 59 cents, so beautiful. XOM, guys, pushing as well. We're in the money nicely. Crude oil's popping. This market could be vulnerable, guys. CAR is halted after a big wide range red sell candle. You got Nvidia, Google, Apple. JP Morgan's also going negative. Wow, financials are getting faded here too. So look for more downside, guys. The tape is showing some weakness. Stocks that were green, like JP Morgan, was up almost 0.8%, and now it's red. Netflix just sucks. Make that cheaper. I'd love to buy Netflix even cheaper, guys. That's one that possibly next week is a potential swing starter position. Look at XOM starting to roar. Here we go. 148 calls, guys, could be in the money today. That would not surprise me. I would not even be surprised if we retest 149.50. That would make us a nice payday. That would be up 1.5% from current levels. Right now, XOM is still red on the session. Go figure. All right, HIMS is still melting. So I'm looking at trimming 1/3 here, guys. I'm going to trim 1/3 of my HIMS puts right into this 29.41 level. 29.41, I'll trim 1/3 of my HIMS puts. IWM getting smoked now. XOM is squeezing. Beautiful. Beautiful, man. I like this price action. Crude oil spiking now up 2.86%. New high of day. Guys, HIMS is printing. XOM is printing as well. Let's get paid, baby. I love it. Let's go. SOXX is now curling down pretty sharply. Come on, HIMS. One more flush into that level. Come on. You can do it if you really want. XOM testing 147.30. Microsoft now seeing a 10-minute topping tail. SOXX is looking a little bit weaker on the 5-minute chart. There's a potential head and shoulders on SOXX. Crude oil, new high a day, up over 3% on WTI, guys. Now you have your Dixie US dollar making a bullish engulfing on the 10-minute chart, 20-minute chart, potentially the 30-minute chart. Oof, the Dixie's moving. Crude oil spiking. XOM ripping. Let's get paid on our XOM calls, HIMS puts. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Look at XOM, guys. We are long and strong XOM. Short HIMS, HIMS again. Coming up into a first trim zone. Up about almost 40% on these HIMS puts, guys. Wow, big squeeze on XOM, guys. I like it. I like it a lot. SPY again could potentially flush all the way down to the low of this parallel channel today. There's a little bit of support before that. Nice squeeze on XOM. Silver now down 3.18%. Gold getting hammered down 1.9. That is telling us that this market probably wants to go red, guys. I mean, the metals are showing us that there is some severe strength in your yields and your dollar and oil. Likely a fat chance the markets go red today, guys. What's funny about that is we had the most bulled up I've ever seen a poll in our chat today. 100% of you voted green for the market on YouTube. Obviously, Peter said red. Come on, Hims. Crude oil is still pumping and jumping. Again, QQQ does have sell signals in the 515. Hourly still makes 4 hours of sell. Come on, take these markets down. I mean, 15 days up in a row for your semis, that is wild. Craziness. Craziness. Yes, it is. All right. A little bit of hourly resistance here for WTI crude, back testing an EMA 113 on your hourly chart. 4-hour looks clear for more upside. Daily chart also back testing the 7-day moving average on WTI crude, guys. So you have hourly chart resistance and daily chart resistance here for crude oil. So if you get through this level, man, the markets are not going to respond in kind. You're also seeing CAR continue seeing a little bit of sell side pressure off of pre-market high levels. Quantum still seeing a little bit of selling. Software still remains strong. I don't like this price action in JP Morgan, guys. Look at how JP Morgan is pretty much gapped and cracked and setting up a potential H pattern bear flag. So not liking when financials go red. Financials were strong yesterday, which saw a nice continuation and pump in the market, but they're starting to roll over today, which could be a little bit of a concern. IWM looking like it wants to gap and crack to the downside. So far, IWM was outperforming on a much bigger ratio. Today, it's starting to come in quite sharply, closing the gap between the Qs and the IWM pretty quickly and ferociously here. Still short HIMS. Come on, HIMS. Almost at our first trim zone, guys, for HIMS. Micron now down 1%. NVIDIA is still slightly negative to flat. Crude oil still trying to shake and move higher. QQQ starting to roll. China stocks are getting hammered today. Uranium, nuclear, under a lot of pressure. Cypher's rolled over. UNH is getting somewhat faded as well. It's only up 7% now. It's 8%. Your VIX, guys, trying to get a little bit of a retest of the highs. SOXX looks like it wants to retest its pre-market low, which is around the pierce of 420. WTI just printed a new high a day there. Still trying to work itself through daily and hourly chart resistance. Big bounce off of OR low for this S&P. SOXX is seeing quite a bit more sell side pressure, guys. Semis are starting to roll down. This is going to hurt the tape here. SOXX looks like it could be gapping and cracking today. It would set up one nasty daily topping tail on SOXX, guys. Yes, it would. IWM coming in pretty sharply now too, guys. S&P potentially losing its opening range low. Crude oil still moving. Your US dollar. Look at this Dixie, guys. Dixie making a big bullish recovery. Crude oil back inside this opening range. Remember, this was your gap up from yesterday. Hourly opening range. Eating this liquidity right now. Also on the daily chart, trying to get back above that 7-day moving average, 87.89. So it's a big level here for the markets. Crude oil above that daily chart's resistance would not mean good things for the market. Still waiting on HIMS to see a little bit more downside. If it consolidates here, guys, I would let HIMS pierce this pivot before I trim profits. Again, I'm looking at 1/3 trim on HIMS if we get a flush through this yellow line. And I'll leave stops in place. SOXX is now coming into its pre-market low and opening range low. So big spot here for the tape. IWM, guys, looking like it's doing the good old-fashioned gap and crack. First viable support level on the Russell for me is around 270, 650 Pierce if we get through this on a straight shot decline. SPY rolling heavy. SPY's melting pretty sharply here, guys. Pretty sharply. Looking at the Qs. Qs have lost pre-market low again. Anyone still holding 640 puts? You could get a nasty flush here today, guys. Crude oil is still ripping. Come on, HIMS. HIMS is almost at first trim, guys. Almost. SOXX breaching pre-market low. Looking nasty. SOFI's rolled over. Lots of weakness. Financials looking heavy. JP Morgan's negative. Lilly down 3.8. Tesla down half. Meta almost looking like it wants to go negative. Google negative. Nvidia down 0.3. Apple down 1.44. S&P melting sharply, guys. Go figure, man. A day where no one in the chat voted for the S&P to go red. We're red now. Wild sentiment, eh? Wild sentiment. Obviously, we haven't closed. Markets could still close positive. You still have your SOXX green. Still have your Q slightly green. But IWM negative. Russell negative. Dow looked to be going negative. Still holding my XOM 148 calls. Those are printing. HIMS puts. Let's get paid, guys. Come on, baby. What a nice flush. Now I want to see this car be down like 20% today. That would be a significant signal if car can close down, you know, between 10-20% today. Look at this melting, guys. Beautiful. Beautiful melt. Yeah, markets are giving it up. SOXX is still green, so that's telling me this market could go deeply red. A nice daily chart topping tail building on SOXX today. You're still super stretched from the 7-day. The 7-day moving average on SOXX is still trading about $10 lower at 407.74. Yep, crude oil is breaking, guys. That's why we've been long XOM. All right, called that out. Our two free trades that we called out today are working quite well. Quite well, right? All right, guys, we are into this first trim zone, but I'm going to let it pierce this area. Come on, give me a pierce. HIMS is tapping that first trim zone. I'm up about 40%. XOM, come on, XOM. Push it, push it, push it. All right, guys, first trim on HIMS. There's the pierce. There is the pierce on HIMS. Boom. Just banked about 45% gain on HIMS, guys. Sorry, 45%. Trimmed 1/3. Still have 66% of the position running to the downside. Look at our XOM calls now, guys. Our XOM is printing. Almost have our 148s in the money, baby. That's another big hitter, guys. Called out here live free. Please hit that like button if you followed some of these trades. Nice little wins on the session. Hard to lose on XOM now that we bought the dip down at that low. We've had a nice consecutive 40-minute bounce. Crude oil now up 3.44%, applying some downside pressure to the tape. Send it to the downside, baby. Go, go, go. Beautiful, man. Look at XOM ripping and roaring, baby. Guys, race stops, break even on HIMS. Break even stop loss on HIMS for myself. All right, IWM is hitting a little bit of a level here. You can see this upsloping trend line. I'd let it pierce that, and then you could try to trade it on the long side. But wow, we're looking nasty here, man. We are looking real nasty. Beautiful declines, finally. Your semiconductors aren't even red yet, guys. That's what I'm telling you. I mean, beauty. Peter's still holding the QQQ put. So am I, Peter. So am I. They're still rolling heavy here, guys. Rolling heavy on my heart. XOM 148 calls are almost in the money, baby. Let's go. Look at the SPY melt, guys. That is wild price action. All right, guys, I just trimmed half of my XOM there, or sorry, 1/3 of my XOM. 1/3 of my XOM at 212. From $1.28 to 212. 148 calls are in the money, baby. Let's go. That was a nice 65% gain on XOM, guys. Beautiful. Beautiful, man. That is nice. Our QQQ puts, guys, are still, if you're holding those, I mean, you're laughing. SPY definitely hitting a little bit of 10-minute chart support here. IONQ now down pretty sharply. XOM still printing to the upside. Wonderful trades, guys. HIMS is still melting lower. Want to see CAR go negative. Has the backdrop. So is boom. Printing. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Look at HIMS now melting too, guys. HIMS is paying us. Market's paying us. Finally, man. Some days the trades don't look like they're going to play out and then bang. They just start ripping in your favor. Just like that, guys. Two big trades. And if you hold those QQQ puts, you're laughing. We could still go quite a bit lower. I still anticipate the SOXX has to go negative at some point. Statistics are heavily in favor for semis to at least see a healthy retrace down. Your SOXX is finally negative, filling the downside gap. And it could still go lower, guys. 4-hour chart support on SOXX is around 412.74, which would be another 1% down on your SOXX. That is the next shoe to drop in the market is your SOXX. Our XOM calls are still printing, guys. Almost up 70% on these XOMs. Full on beast. SPY still melting. You're probably going to get a little bit of a... I still think SPY can hit the downside channel here. So it should undercut prior day low with the sell side pressure. You're just bubbling up into a little bit of a double bottom here. 10-minute EMA. So there is some minor chart support. You also have your US dollar bubbling up into pre-market high. Big bounce on your S&P. IWM catching a nice bounce. Financials just turned slightly red there. Negative on the session. CAR is still green, man. That thing needs to roll. What a bounce in the S&P, guys. Pretty big bounce in the tape, guys. Still a lot of damage has been done with this sell-off. We might need a little bit of backing and filling after a big waterfall decline like that. You can see dip buyers are coming in full force. Again, the next one to decline and go negative, guys, has to be this car. Has car and SOXX. I mean, these things cannot be green 15 days in a row. That would just be wild. That would be wild, actually. All right, Hims is getting a big bounce. So is the tape. Crazy. Crazy session. Lots of volatility. Big bounce on your SOXX. Dip buyers are still trying to defend the tape. Something up a little bit, still up 3% on the session. So now S&P, if you caught that, that's a really solid bounce. Still have quite a bit of damage, guys. What's interesting about this QQQ chart is we back tested the breakout trend line. They defended it, but you might be setting up this big M top formation. So if this is a double top failed breakout, which you can see, this little high pivot here could be construed as a bit of a failed breakout here for the Qs, guys. So if that is an M top pattern, a little bit of a liquidity grab, failed breakout, we could see a decent continuation move down if we come back down to this trend line and break it. Markets are still holding somewhat steady. Still very extended. That's about it. Crude oil trying to make another push higher. So gold and silver were kind of our little indications that oil and the dollar were going to push higher, much, much higher. They've been underperforming since the morning session, and they had a little bit of an intraday uptick when the markets were trying to break out there and then got absolutely hammered back down. So with gold and silver down this sharply, we could still see more sell side pressure in the major indices. It would not surprise me. For the time being, markets are still holding steady. The Qs are green, IWM and SPY are red. Still seeing nice little bounce on your S&P. This is what happens. Sell-offs from all-time highs still remain incredibly bullish. At least the dip buys. USO still up a couple percent. WTI still consolidating up 3.3. I still think crude oil is too strong. The level that crude oil has violated or is trying to violate is back above that daily 7 moving average, guys. So 87.93 is where the bulls on crude oil want to close it above. Bears want to try to slap it back down below. We can see we're now trying to build a base along the EMA, hourly EMA. So still holding somewhat steady here. If you get through this level, then we're going back to this SR zone. And there's maybe an inverse head and shoulders building on crude oil, which one could argue it has broken out today and should yield a little bit more upside. See if that's the case. SPY's technically a short coming up here off this zone, guys. This little 10-minute wick or the 708, kind of a close back below 708.20 is your stop loss, but SPY is approaching a retest short zone here. Look at the drop there, guys. Crude oil starting to push up yet again, spiking to the top side. Damn, what a rejection there. Clean technical rejection. Still gonna sell signals across a lot of your larger time frames. WTI crude, guys, still pushing. Crazy strength in oil today. Seems like the markets are getting ready for Trump's deadline. Man, if Trump strikes again, this market's gonna tumble. Still have your semiconductors green. Qs are still hanging on to positive price action. Your semis are still relentless, pushing back higher. Car also seeing some strength. Tesla's flat. Meta is still green. Amazon, Microsoft still showing strength. Apple rolling heavy. Nvidia still slightly red. Alright guys, I'm going to stay on for another few more minutes on the YouTube stream, and then I'm going to be closing it. The day trading session is coming to an end. Looks like we're entering a bit of chop zone. Seems like the bigger moves are almost completed for the day. Your VIX is still looking somewhat strong, trying to break out, guys. UVXY. Big spot here. Yeah. Peter's saying this market is stubborn and strong. It is. It is until it isn't. I mean, guys, we look at crude oil and this is just rocketing. Rocket ship. So this market's going to take out the lows in my opinion. Oil is too strong again. Too strong. Markets have kind of been in la la land, disregarding oil as if it doesn't matter anymore. And I mean, we still have to recognize, even with the ceasefire talk, since the start of the war here, oil's still up pretty big and it's holding steady up at these $80, $90 areas. So it's still a problem for valuations, specifically across your airlines, across your transports. Remember, there's a big portion of the market that still relies on these transports. Dow Transports has gone absolutely parabolic. So it's wild. Wild stuff out there. And again, the market does like to climb the wall of worry. But at some point, right, valuations do get impacted by your largest input cost here, which is oil. Look at this oil price, guys. It's wild stuff. Ripping. Buys getting hammered. Crude oil still spiking here, guys. Holy moly. Look at WTI, guys. Can't stop, won't stop. Now up 4% or so and moving. She ripping. Our XOM calls should take out the highs, guys. Our XOM calls should take out the highs with crude this strong. Markets should take out the lows as well, guys. Look at crude oil ripping, man. Convincingly ripping. Huge. Huge mover. XOM back up 148 calls are in the money yet again, guys. We called those out early for all of you. And XOM has been a nice little payday for us. Contracts were cheap, very cheap. We got them at $1.28. They're currently trading at $2.16. I'm going to leave these on the table. I think we have a strong end of week push in energy and a very nasty end of week close for the market. That being said, there's still a whole bunch of earnings set to take place, but crude oil can dampen the party. Look at our XOM calls. Beast mode, baby. Alright guys, I'm going to end this YouTube stream here. I'm going to keep Telegram going for the members, but still riding my HIMS puts. We did take a trim off of the Pierce that level. Still riding my XOM 148 calls, guys. So, great job if you're able to profit with us today. Please hit that like button on the stream because we called out 2 free bangers here. XOM just printed a new high a day, baby. Let's go, and let's go. I like it. I like it a lot, guys. Alright, we'll see you a bit later, guys.